next we have Camila Figueres, and Camila earned her BS in Agricultural Engineering from Federal University of Lavras in Brazil, her MS in Agronomy from Federal University of the Rural Amazon, Brazil, and then a PhD in Agronomy and Entomology from the Federal University of Lavras in Brazil. For the last 3 years, Camila has been a research associate at Cornell University. Camila studies how insects interact with plants and other organisms in an effort to better manage insects in environmentally friendly ways. In her teaching, Camila gives students hands-on experiences using insects as examples for understanding life. She'll be speaking today on plant-insect microbe interactions from Brazil to UNCA. Camila?
Hi everyone, thank you so much for the whole group here. It's a pleasure to be here and be talking about things that I love. Today I'm going to be talking about 3 specific things. The first one will be what it is, plant-insect microbe interactions. The second one, I will be trying to explain a little bit why I decided to work with this and explain about my career. And I want to finish trying to share a little bit what I'm planning for the future here at UNCA. So first, what means interactions between plants, insects, and microbes? Or other organisms, why not? Basically, what I want to explore is understand how they interact with each other, how they communicate, how they behave near each other, and how much one organism can influence the other one. So before I decided to work with these crazy things, I was in Brazil doing my undergrad in a place where I could learn from how to drive a tractor, a big tractor, or fix if something happened on the field, to build a barn there, to how insects work inside the insects, for example. Was amazing, very big things to learn, a lot of classes, but was a very good experience. Before that, I had the opportunity to go to Amazon. I received a scholarship, a special scholarship, to go to Amazon forest and start to explore how we can use different methodologies to manipulate the insects there. But because I was in the Amazon forest, why not explore what we have here available, the amazing world of the biodiversity present there? So what I did, I went with the natives there to the forest, and I started to explore there. I was there for at least 6 months, every single day in the forest. It was an amazing experience. I learned much more than in class, And I have the opportunity to learn about different species and how they use the knowledge that they have to do different management systems in their lives. I used this, and I went back to the lab, explored a little bit, and we could figure out some publications from that. That was good. After that, I was invited to participate in a project in University of Illinois with plant physiology and how the plants react in different environment conditions. It was a great opportunity because I didn't have a lot of experience with plants, and I'm always trying to understand what's going on inside the plants, especially when they are playing with the insects. So it was great. After this experience and with plants and the experience with the Amazon and my big thing in the undergrad, I decided to do my PhD. Why not? And during my PhD, the first thing that my supervisor asked me, what do you want to work with? And I told them, I want to work with interactions. Everything that I like, insects, microorganisms, and plants. My supervisor told me, you are crazy, because you can have a big successful, or you can be without your PhD. We don't have, I was in Brazil at that time, and he told me, we don't have support for this kind of research here, unfortunately. And I told him, no problem. We can figure out who is responsible and who has this, and I can move to that place. No problem at all. So this way, I start my course there. I could do a lot of basic research, and when I had some good results, of course, I called some professors here in the US not good English to talk with them, was tricky. But I was able to communicate with them, and they invited me to come here with a project and do all my research with fancy equipment here in US. After that, I went to Cornell after finishing my PhD, when I did my more research. So basically, my research was working with plant-insect interactions, and I would like to, I was interested to understand the pathway, what's going on inside the plants, that the insects can feel that, can for some reason respond for that signal, and how this works. And not just, of course, because I want things hard, why not just above ground? I decided to go and explore below ground too. That it's not easy for who knows how to work with below ground area. It's not an easy way to do because we can't see what's going on there. So the first result, with some experiments, we can prove that when we manipulate the plants above ground, we have response below ground. Not just for the plants, but the other organism that is around the area could recognize some specific signs released by the plant and can go there to help the plant. This was so cool, but I didn't know how the plant was doing that because I didn't have the chemistry lab, the chemical ecology lab to do that. So with these results, in this picture, I don't know if here, we have the herbivory that eat the whole plant, below ground and above ground. And this one is the natural enemy. What we did on this paper, we could show that when those herbivory are eating above the corn plant here, the plant releases some specific signs that this beautiful entomopathogenic nematodes recognize this sign and go near the plant and help the plant stop this little one eating the plant. So, because I want to learn exactly what's going on in the plant, I moved to Florida, and I have the opportunity to work in the lab that people were working a lot with nematodes, so I could learn more about it. And at the same time, I could start work with chemical ecology. That to answer my questions was amazing. And what we found with this, that now I changed the system because it was hard to work with corn in Florida. So I started work with citrus. And what we did, we stimulate above ground the same way, the plant defense pathways, and we checked below ground. And checked first the response with nematodes and figure out if it was the same system. And yes, was. So with this, we could collect volatiles around the plant here. And collecting those volatiles, we did some tests trying to figure out which kind of volatiles was present on the blend, on the mixture. And together with this, what we did, we test those specific chemicals with the nematodes to figure out if it's a blend mixture that it's responsible for this behavior or some specific chemical present there. And what we figured out that the limonene was responsible for this communication between the plant and the nematodes. So when I moved to Cornell, was my beautiful playground because I had a chemical ecology lab to do all the research that I want to do. And more than that, I could work with applied research. And when I arrived there, my first question, how am I gonna do this? I have a lot of basic questions, how I'm gonna be applying this because I'm in a place that just apply research, just agriculture field was great. I could start working how we can use, for example, entomopathogenic nematodes as a biological control together with other entomopathogenic fungi, and together with this, understanding what's going on in real life without lab situation, collect some volatiles in different areas and mix all together. It was a great experience, and I have a lot of data that I need to finish and publish. So we did there some basic research on nematodes behavior and trying to figure out some communications between the nematodes. That was great. We are almost there to figure out the correct pheromone that is responsible for the aggregation between the species. And this one, I'm very proud of this. We just published this, came out this week, so it's a celebration time. When on the project and apply project, we start observing that the insects, those insects here, wasn't dying directly for the effect immediately from the nematodes. But what's going on, the adults, when we start taking care of the adults along with the life, we couldn't see that those adults couldn't reproduce or couldn't, for example, develop the correct way the wings. So it was a no lethal effect or long-term effect from the nematodes to this pest. Was very nice, and we was very excited, much more than the real project. So what I'm going to talk with this slide, this was very important for me to make a decision that I want to be back in teaching, not just doing research. I was super happy doing my research, but I was feeling that I was missing something. Ramon, he was my student in Brazil when I was teaching in Brazil during my PhD. He was my student in my first class there. And one day he came to my class and he told me, Camila, I think I'm gonna leave. I'm not strong enough to do this. I don't have a nice base from my school, and I can't do this. I don't have family who did this before, so I'm gonna leave. And we start working together. So he couldn't finish. I moved to here. He was finishing his undergrad there. Always talk. Was great. He applied for a master program. He was approved. We were published together. During his master, he couldn't do his research there. So I invited him to come here and work with me in the lab. Was great for him and for me because I had the opportunity to learn how we can be more open and flexible, and this is not a bad thing. Like Mario said, his scores in the test was the lowest ones. I couldn't understand what he's trying to say to me. But when we start working together and I start learning how I can be more useful and help the people who really needs me, was my big point. And I was very comfortable with my position, just be research, and I'm fine. I like to do research. I love my research. But when he went back to my lab and we start talking again, I decided, okay, it's time for me. I need to do teaching. It's something that I'm doing since I was a kid. I always liked this part. And I had the opportunity to come here. So Ramon, now he's doing his PhD in Brazil. And he is one of the best ones in his class. And he's doing this in a very fancy university there. So I'm very proud of him. I hope I can have more Ramons in my life. So my goal here at UNC, like I said, the only reason that I'm here, because I really want to be able to teach and use my research as a way to do this as the best way as I can. Of course, always with insects, always with plants, but it's the way that I feel comfortable to do this. I'm gonna be working with interactions a lot and use this in class. I really want to use all my knowledge in class, not just knowledge of scientific knowledge, but my personal situation. I would like to share this and have the opportunity to have more students like Ramon in my life that I can help grow together. I'm very happy that I have the opportunity to be here now as a professor and be able to do my career. And to be here, I had a lot of support to do that. And I want to be able to do the same thing for the other ones. So one research that I really want to do here, I already submitted the grant for American Chestnut Foundation with Dr. Horton. And we are planning to keep going working with chestnut weevil. It's an important pest at chestnut. And the goal is understand doing basic research and apply research as well and figure out solutions for this environment. I would love to talk more about my research, but we don't have time, correct? So I will be talking more about this in my seminar. Please participate. I think will be a Zoom link as well for who can participate. I will be talking with more details about my research. I will be talking again in September 10th, a day after that, for the Chestnut Conference, just about Chestnut, showing some results, school results that we already have, and on the brown bag talk. It's very nice to have this opportunity to talk more about my research and hope have a lot of students working with me soon. One thing before I finish here, I would love to talk about this. UNCA was a very nice, welcome place. I feel home here, that it's something completely different from the other places. I have a different background for most of the people here in my position, and I'm so happy the way that I was welcomed, especially in my department group, that can understand the difference and be welcome and help me to figure out what's going on, and the whole university. The support that our group, the fellows group, are having with the mentoring group that we are having was amazing. To explain everything, be welcome, and give us the opportunity to expend more time in things that we really need, that it's prepare classes and work with students. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope I could be working much more, especially with the diversity, equity, and inclusion, because it's something that I like to do, and I believe I can help in different ways. Thank you.